Welcome back, everyone, to Web3 Unpacked. I'm Rich Pasqua, and joining us today is Moheeth Alvi, Head of Product Advanced Trading of Coinbase, the world's largest and most trusted crypto exchange for buying, selling, and storing crypto. Welcome, Moheeth.
Hey, thank you, Rich, and thanks for having me here. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to have you here. We've been dying to get you and others from Coinbase on for a while now, so it's all good. We're happy to have you. Moheeth, now you've been with Coinbase for over 4.5 years now, which is in crypto years is a pretty long time, actually. And you've spent time as a product lead for other companies. You've started your own tech-driven companies. You were a CEO. A lot of things going on here, a lot of tools and ideas and skills to bring to the table at Coinbase. So that's awesome. Now, one of the things we absolutely love to do here, Moheeth, is really kind of see how people's journey started. How did Web3, crypto, this whole world start for you?
Yeah, great question. So back in 2020, this was Q1 of 2020, when I was ready for the next product experience in my career. By way of background, I love to build products. I love business. I was a product leader, as you mentioned, at a previous company. The CEO thing actually is kind of a not tech-driven company, actually a sports pickleball business, but we can talk about that maybe over a beer. But yeah, love business, love products, and I was looking for my next thing. And a great friend of mine who was working on the product team at Coinbase that spoke about what an excellent team it was, what great leadership it had, and what a high bar it held for the quality of products it shipped to its customers. And so that's how I got introduced to team members at Coinbase, and kind of embarked on that process to see if it was a fit. I've generally been really passionate about the mission of Coinbase on driving economic freedom in the world. I grew up in a place where most people are not economically free, suffers from a lot of currency depreciation, all of the economic problems that crypto has a promise to solve. And so I was very aligned with the mission. And then I discovered that the team was super high caliber. I had this friend who recommended it to me, and it turned out to be a great fit. And I joined the company in May of 2020 on their international expansion team. That's how I started things at Coinbase and thinking about how to grow its ex-US presence. So that was a little bit about my intro to crypto and my start with Coinbase.
Awesome. Yeah. And, you said a lot of great things in there. And one that resonates with me is Coinbase's purpose. And I've been using it since they started many, many moons ago, much like yourself. And it does offer freedom, point blank. It's freedom. I was always intrigued by the whole idea of third world nations and families being able to control their funds outside of government or financial restrictions. So that's near and dear to me. The idea of freedom right now in the United States, across the world, Venezuela, anywhere, is so important. And a lot of people are fighting for it. And I see Coinbase and Brian Armstrong, to me, is one of the most amazing advocates for our space. We could talk for hours about him. It's really not about him, but he's doing great work, lobbying for everyone on everyone's behalf, and it's a beautiful thing. So Coinbase, as many of us know, has a tremendous amount of things to offer: tools, learning, everything else like that. And Moheeth, you're actually kind of running the whole advanced trading end of it. Can you give us a little bit of the background there? What is it? Maybe dip into some of the other products that you're offering.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. Yeah, advanced trading is what I'm currently working on. Me and a great team that is focused on bringing the best trading platform for more sophisticated crypto traders. So these are people that are trading more seriously for their livelihood, day traders, swing traders, analytical traders that have programmed uh, automated bots to conduct the trading strategies. And so that's our kind of target demographic. This product used to be called Coinbase Pro. It originally used to be called GDAX, Global Digital Asset Exchange. That was the OG crypto trading product. And it's kind of evolved from there. The great thing about advanced trading is that it's in our main Coinbase app and is there for everybody to access for free and gives you access to powerful trading tools. We have a trading view integration so you can see in-depth market data, and you have sophisticated order types where you can manage your risks and execute slightly more complex trading strategies beyond just hodling crypto. So that's what our product is about. And yeah, maybe that kind of answers the initial question. But to kind of give a little bit more detail, we have more than 500 trading pairs or markets. We offer some of the most liquid and deep markets. So if price execution and liquidity is important to you, Coinbase Advance is an excellent choice for a venue to execute your trading. And over the next few months, we're really focused on enhancing both our mobile and web experience, focusing on derivatives beyond just spot trading, um, more order types, and an elegant UI that's powerful and that is something that customers want to come back to and use again and again.
Yeah. And truth be told, obviously I've been using Coinbase and, other exchanges trying different things out. Coinbase is obviously my go-to, but, just for our audience, I've been stacking and doing and this and flipping and trading and doing whatnot. But now I'm actually literally within the past couple of weeks dipping into advanced, right? And it used to be Coinbase Pro to your earlier point. That threw me off a little bit. And then I was like, oh, it's just a tab now. You little switch it over and boom, you've got like no fees, or limited fees for trading, but you're not paying for a pro account. There's tons of tools there right on the onset.
That's right.
So personally, I'm digging into it, Moheeth, and it looks good. It's working great. And it's making a lot of sense,
I'm glad to hear that.
yeah, yeah. It's really good. It's a very smooth transition. I think in the early days when you guys were rolling it out, you gave enough fair warning and messaging
Yeah.
so that people could kind of dig in quickly. So
To be fair, we did get a lot of feedback when we did move from Pro to Coinbase Advanced. Coinbase Pro had like a pretty legendary reputation, and a lot of people loved that experience. But I think we've addressed a lot of the initial migration frictions, and people are now beginning to enjoy the unified experience. And yeah, I think we're beginning to build a more and more excellent platform that will hopefully be enjoyable for folks like you that are just digging your toes and dipping your toes, and for those that are adept at using alternative crypto trading platforms as well.
great. Yeah. I mean, I may have some questions for you down the road offline. But it's going really, really well so far for me, at least. And I encourage everyone to kind of hit that little tab and just play around. You're not going to break anything. You just play with it. And
Yeah.
because we're product guys here, at the core, and we're talking about, users like myself, who would you consider your core user? I know it's a little bit of a wild card, but
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And again, back to your earlier point, like we've kind of bifurcated the product where like advanced is a mode and you can switch it on web. It's like a switch at the bottom left of the main page. In the mobile app, it's in your settings, and you switch advanced, and the whole experience kind of changes. Um, our target cohort is, like I mentioned, people who are trying to execute more complex trading strategies beyond just hodling or one-off buying and selling. Think about day traders. Think about scalpers that are trying to profit on the smaller variations in crypto prices. people who want to be market neutral, regardless of the macro crypto environment or regardless of the market cap. And some of our customers are doing this full time. They don't have a day job. This is their day job. And those are the types of power users that we are after and we are building for. And this is both in the United States and outside of the United States. And we recognize how significant the international advanced trading cohort is. And that's where a lot of our attention is going. Of course, like we have a very big US presence and US business. But global is definitely the mindset. And like I mentioned, it's not just spot trading, but our focus is also on expansion of derivatives, which is already available in several countries. And you can go to advanced.coinbase.com to check if it's available in your country. But yeah, we have that top of mind.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because you know, I'm not a finance guy. I never went to finance school. Tons of people didn't. But, you know, back in 2013, when I got started, I started to kind of rewind and start to understand the history of money and then understand the federal banking system and the good, the bad, and the ugly, what comes with that. A lot of ugly actually these days. But, you know, with that said, I started to learn a little bit more and a little bit more. And then it was actually crypto. It wasn't the NASDAQ, which I've enjoyed for many, many years, my entire life. It was crypto that got me into it and said, hey, there's a different way to do this. And then, you know, to your point, it could be day traders, full-time traders, hardcore traders, using the new advanced features on Coinbase. But at the end of the day, there are tons of people like myself who are doing their day thing, working on projects, going into the office, doing whatever you're doing, and then coming home or on the train trading, literally trading on, and it's fantastic. And I think the ease of use and the entire user experience of Coinbase is helping to kind of matriculate people from TradFi to DeFi, which we'll get into a little bit more later.
Yeah,
But
and it's 24/7, 365. So no market closure. Everybody has access at the same time, no matter where you're located on the planet. So yeah, those are some of the inherent benefits that crypto brings.
yeah, absolutely. I couldn't imagine having to wait to 9 o'clock or 8 a.m. or 9 o'clock when the market's open to make a trade. That would just kill me. But that's just me. Now, talking about people and adoption and everything else that comes with it, one of the biggest things, you know, you're on the end of building. You're a builder, you're a creator, you're making experiences for people, you know, both technical and from a UI standpoint and a user experience standpoint. But product marketing is one of the toughest things in our industry. And, you know, one of the things that Coinbase touts is base, right? So I'm digging into that as well and really starting to understand what this level 2 solution's all about. But really at the heart of it, and correct me if I'm wrong, it really aims to onboard the next billion users, right? Can you give us a little bit of the background of how your, you know, product marketing is working, whether it be base or advanced?
Yeah, I think there are a few different threads in that question. I think the first thing you mentioned is that product marketing is generally hard, regardless of the product that you're thinking about. Absolutely true. And I think what I've learned through the various experiences in my career is that if you start with your customers and speaking directly to them and being where they are, the best marketing channels become obvious to you. Whether it's because like all of your customers are hanging out in certain forums online, or they're in certain places geographically, and you go out to meet them, and you have an in real life like direct touch marketing approach. It begins with like being with your customers constantly, and I think that's the approach we take both with we take with all of our products at Coinbase Base, who are like laser focused at being on the ground with developers who want to build on this new layer two, as well as advanced traders. And next week I'll be going to Singapore for Token 2049, which is this big crypto conference, and the whole objective there is to be surrounded by my customer group and our traders, and making sure that we are hearing directly from them what improvements they want to see in our product, on our roadmap, and making sure they feel that they're at the core of our purpose here as builders. And so I think if we think about the product marketing philosophy from that lens, like being with your customer first, then the channels that you want to use to conduct that go to market become more clear, and we'll probably have a higher conversion because you're embedded in the community. You were going to say something?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, then moving to Base. So first thing I'll say about Base is that it's being built by one of the best teams in crypto out there, period. And so I'm super proud to be on like a different team, but as part of the same company, looking at all the great work that they're doing. The second thing is, the main objective with Base is making sure that they're laser focused on lowering fees and lowering costs of settlement and transactions on this network, on the Base network, and increasing usability and adoption. The members of the Base team are on the ground constantly advocating with developers and the benefits of using Base, and it's that efficiency and cost reduction that we believe will be the foundation for which the next breakout consumer app or applications are going to be built off. And I think you first need that foundation that is an attractive foundation, that is very efficient to build on, that is very inexpensive to build on. Think about sub 1 second, sub 1 cent per transaction. And I think when you have a playing field like that, it is a natural breeding ground for the best developers to come and build applications on top of. And those applications are what are going to onboard the next billion users, but you need that foundation first. And so that is the core focus of the Base team. And we're seeing a lot of great traction there. And I'm very excited about what we're about to see over the next few months.
Yeah, well said, Moheeth. And yeah, you're right. It's a combination of a lot of different things, right? To get people onboarded, but keep them engaged, right? People like myself and tons of other people. And the pricing, I think, is so important per trade, because you'll get TradFi people going, hey, oh my gosh, how come you guys in crypto pay, such cheap prices on, swaps and trades? And, it's a totally different network, but it is important, because if you're paying $20, $30, $100 a trade, it's pulling the fun out of it. Right. And it gets expensive if you want to do, multiple trades a day or an hour or whatever you're doing. So I think that's a really important part of it, in combination with the user experience and the onboarding.
And I think like a developer first strategy is what the Base team is focusing on, and focusing on builders. And so if you have a great place for builders to build, and that's very efficient to build on, you can build applications that are inexpensive. That will be like where the creativity happens to build that next big breakout consumer app, and then bring on the rest of the consumer population on chain.
Very, very interesting and very exciting, actually. So one of the things I wanted to ask you, Moheeth, little bit of a sidetrack, but you experience this probably every hour of your life working at Coinbase. I experience it every day as well. But the idea of people not really grasping crypto, for your team, for Coinbase, when you're onboarding new employees, how important is it for them to be crypto literate?
Yeah, I think we're a crypto first company. So our expectation when you join the company, even if you are not crypto native coming in, is that you develop that intelligence and expertise of the crypto space relatively quickly, because that's our customer set, and we've got to be on the front lines of what is happening in crypto to be the best builders for our customers. And so I think that's like, uh, on team members and when people onboard the company, generally our expectation and guidance, just to become crypto literate pretty quickly. It is not a prerequisite to work at Coinbase. We've, worked with a lot of people who have built that knowledge after coming in. Um, but yeah, definitely hear your point on a lot of people are skeptical about this new asset class. And
Mm.
I think that all the work that Coinbase is doing to bring on the biggest names in finance to partner with, like BlackRock, et cetera, with all the ETFs being issued, I think as people see that association of the biggest players in traditional finance working with companies like Coinbase and advancing their offerings in crypto, that will begin to address some of that skepticism and make crypto seem like a legitimate asset class that is candidly here to stay. It's not going anywhere. And so, yeah, there is some time it'll take for that comfort to proliferate more and more to people who are just in the TradFi world right now. But for sure, it's going to happen. And, that's a lot of where our focus is.
Yeah, yeah, all good points. And I have tons of friends. Some of them are Wall Street traders that have been in it for 30, 40 years, whatever they're doing. Um, some are new, fresh blood on Wall Street. And I talk to a lot of these guys and ladies. And, you try and explain to them all the pros and cons of Bitcoin and like the Bitcoin standard and the idea of crypto trading. NFTs usually make their heads blow up. Um, and it's really difficult, right? If they haven't put in the time to understand that. Some of them are starting to do it. And I'm seeing younger people starting to ask me more questions. First question is, what should I invest in? Right. So, all right, you give them the bare bones there, the bedrock kind of investments, but there's a whole mechanism behind this too. We didn't even bring up the idea of, the BlackRocks or Vanguards of the world. They're tokenizing every asset in the traditional world. And a lot of people don't really understand what is going on right now. The bulk of the work, yes, people are building Web3 or blockchain applications and whatnot, and services and exchanges, but there's tons and tons of tokenization going on, and people, that just kind of blows people's minds. Like, your house can be tokenized, your cars can be tokenized, services you use can be tokenized. That balloons your net worth technically, and it validates your net worth. As an individual, that's powerful. As a financial institution, small, medium, and large, hyper powerful for speed and accuracy and accounting. So yeah. I mean, what do you think, Moheeth? What do you think for traders specifically in the modern day today? What do you think the mental hurdles are for them
Yeah,
to, getting on board?
yeah, it's a great question. I think it's first, can I trust? And is it reliable? And is it safe? Those are
Mm.
the fundamental first questions that any trader would ask, right? And I think that is where one of Coinbase's strongest value propositions is that we are a publicly listed company, extremely transparent in the way we build and the products and services that we offer. And we pride ourselves in being extremely secure. And so I think the first thing we want to address in terms of the mental roadblocks is that, is it safe? Can I trust it? Is it secure? And I think that is where a lot of the company's history has been built and reputation has been built. And so we will continue to invest in this and making sure that people who want to onboard to crypto have an option they can look to, that they can feel confident in and trust and know that their assets will be safe and their experience will be secure. So I think
Mm.
that's number one. Number two thing, the second thing for traders is like where is their alpha, right? And I think that more and more of the traditional finance traders or hedge funds or financial institutions that I interface with, who have not yet, come over to crypto, eventually they cannot miss out on it, because if they have customers behind them, those folks are asking about, hey, is there exposure to crypto in my portfolio? And so it's becoming more and more obvious that as the asset class and market cap for crypto grows over time, that this is a key part of anybody's portfolio, and without it, you're probably missing out. And so I think as that continues to prove out, and it's going to take time, like these are still early days, it will be another removal of a mental roadblock, right? That like, is this serious? Is this asset class real? How long is it going to stay around? And every year we continue to demonstrate and prove out staying power and growth power. And that will be like the second kind of mental roadblock that is kind of unlocked.
Yeah,
Um,
great points. And the misconceptions are trust. Trust is one of the biggest things. And the irony of it all is blockchain was created for instant trust or trustless,
yeah.
right? So it's kind of funny. You were saying, go ahead, keep going.
No. I think those are the 2 points, and then you need like, okay, well, I'm used to all of these, very developed and mature traditional finance trading products that have all sorts of optionality, that have all sorts of instruments, and I can, execute all these different complex strategies, long, short, etc. Do I have all those capabilities available to me in all these crypto trading platforms? Are they up to par with what I'm used to in traditional finance? And I think that is where a lot of my team's focus is, like making sure that those power traders that are used to trading instruments in traditional finance have all of that ease of use, as well as um, uh, power and trading tools and order types, availability of markets, APIs that can allow you to trade programmatically without even needing a user interface. That we have the best in class trading platform, regardless of whether it's a crypto product, regardless of whether the asset class is crypto. So I think, it's trust and safety, and do I feel good about it? Then it's, do I believe in the asset class? And then third, it's like, okay, now I've crossed one and two. Do I actually have the tools I need to kind of execute some of the strategies that I'm used to executing on TradFi? And I think we've built a lot of that and are continuing to build that. So this is a best in class trading platform across the board. And so that's our North Star. And I think once we, as we continue to make progress towards that North Star, we should be addressing all three of those mental roadblocks, and hopefully we onboard more and more traders.
I think you will over time. And I do believe, in the world of trading and all the tons of assets you have access, everyone has access to almostly. Things are a little bit divided. And I say it's less about an education division, meaning, you're a NASDAQ trader or commodities or whatever you're doing, and you've got a rich history in that background, and you don't want to make the leap. Yeah, there are some of those people, but I think it's fewer to the people who may often think that Bitcoin in particular is competition to fiat. And it really isn't. It's a complement. To me, in my eyes. It's actually the asset that is going to set the bedrock and the foundation for truth,
Yeah.
and to hold all other assets and fiat accountable. So yeah, a little bit of a division there. It's interesting. There are tons of mind shifts, as and hurdles that you brought up. We can go on for days about that, but the psychology of investing in anything, design, experience, always fascinates me.
Yeah, I would say like, Coinbase doesn't really like have a favorite asset within the crypto asset class. We believe in the technology, and we believe generally in the industry. and we have this whole stand with crypto movement that Brian is directly leading, where we're advocating for
Yeah.
crypto at the national level. And I forget exactly the stat, but there is a significant amount of the American population that is exposed and has dipped their toes in crypto, and so it is representing a growing constituent of the American population as well as the global population. And I think um, as that continues to grow, there will be people who feel like they're missing out and will come in for that reason. So that advocacy piece is absolutely critical. And I'm super glad and proud that our leadership is driving that head on. But yeah, there is certainly kind of division, and people have different chains that they support, different crypto assets they support. We want to give the power to you and the customer and the traders so that they can go after the strategy or the blockchain or the project that they are most bullish about, and trade accordingly.
Yeah, I've always felt that Coinbase was fairly did a good job of being agnostic from a asset offering standpoint. So yeah, I mean, great job there. And it's talking about features and functionality and all this good stuff. I talked to tons of people building intelligence tools just for traders. Really, they're not. I mean, you can execute large scale trades and consistent trades through their platforms, but they really tout intelligence. And it's funny. My 16-year-old son is taking a Bloomberg class, and I'm thrilled. And it's funny because I'm like, oh man. And the first thing I asked the professor when we were meeting the teachers the other night, hey, do you allow them to trade Bitcoin ETFs? They're like, oh, yes. Yeah, we do. I'm like, all right, game over. So, and then my next question is, hey, what about, self-custody and being more sovereign with it? She has to get back to me. So they're all learning as we go. And it's kind of funny. Now getting into the intelligence part of it, and I bring up Bloomberg because yes, you trade with a Bloomberg terminal and their tools and whatnot, but really what they offer are security around communications, number one, and a really deep and rich base of intelligence, both in and outside of the industry. Is Coinbase currently, I mean, say what you can say on camera, but are you guys working on any more advanced or richer intelligence tools, analytics tools?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. It isn't on the product right now. I mean, we do have a trading view integration, which is like the best in class charting platform
Yeah.
so it's like a way to display market data that you already have in a very dynamic and powerful way. I think like that's a great solution. And I'm glad that that's a core part of our platform and offering. And by the way, you can use TradingView for free through Advanced, so you don't even need to pay for it if you do elsewhere. But in terms of like DeFi analytics platforms that maybe you have in mind that can kind of influence and inspire your trading strategy as you see asset movement from different wallets across chains, etc. We don't have that directly integrated in the product. It's a really good idea, candidly, and there's some really good providers out there that potentially that we could partner with. So definitely good input and definitely good suggestion. My team would be the one thinking about that as far as the retail advanced trading population is concerned. So thank you for a good nudge. And we know a lot of people that work at those companies. We've had discussions with them. So I think at some point down the road, probably makes sense to provide some sort of functionality like that within advanced trade itself.
Yeah, and a lot of them. A lot of the folks building some of the outside products that I was talking about are incorporating AI into it, and it's not like, AI is creating predictive models for you, but which it pretty much could, but it's also helping to automate it. It becomes a production tool where it helps to automate timing and execution of different trades
Yeah, and
and research.
not to cut you off, but like I mentioned, we have like Coinbase Advanced APIs, and so to your point, like timing, execution, not having to worry about you not being at your screen when the market is moving. Like you can set up your scripts, whether you like generated them through some AI or you coded them yourself, but you can have automated, programmatic, API-driven trading strategies that just go and behave how you would behave behind a screen while you're not there. And so I think we're seeing a growing cohort of users that are more programmatic in nature. Some of the highest volume traders are of that nature. And so totally, I agree with you.
Yeah, yeah, very exciting. And with that said, all right, I have tons of ideas for you guys. By the way,
You want to join the team?
yeah, well, we'll talk after the podcast. So, uh, with that said, I appreciate any company that creates digital products that takes their time, right? And I've had this conversation with tons of product people, CEOs, CTOs. Some of them just they fill the bag, set it free, and see what works. To me, that's really not the best way because you disorient people, you confuse them, it becomes overwhelming. One of the things you guys have done really well is limiting. I mean, Coinbase has tons of stuff, and if you're new to it, it could blow your mind, but it really is a very simplified experience, and it takes courage and a lot of years of product development to say enough is enough and to build on what's working and, test the waters in other ways. So kudos to you guys.
Thank you.
And with that said, I'm going to toot the horn a little bit louder here. I mentioned to you, I follow and listen to every word Brian Armstrong says because he's an advocate. He's one of the few advocates out there. He's lobbying. He's literally in Congress. He's on Wall Street. He's telling the story, but he's also defending the story. Now, with that said, I always like to bridge product to some of the more outside stuff that people might not think about, like legislation and the regulatory landscape. How do you guys deal with maybe Coinbase proper, but also filter some of these regulations into the product environment?
Good, difficult question. First off, on like the Brian comment, I couldn't be more proud that he's my CEO, and it's one of the big reason why I'm at the company, and why many of my colleagues are at the company, and it's amazing he's such a major advocate for the crypto community, and that like he's kind of scaled from like a tech CEO to like someone who can go to Washington and lobby people on both sides of the aisle for this cause that's so important to so many Americans. So that's awesome. I think the best way to learn more about about the reg landscape for crypto and Coinbase's approach and thinking towards it is to actually follow Paul Graywall, who's our chief legal officer on X. He's one of the smartest people that I've ever worked with, and is a great leader for our company, and is always being transparent with the community on what are the latest developments, how Coinbase is reacting, etc. And so I really recommend to follow Paul on X. And I think that'll probably give you a better and more detailed insight as to how Coinbase is navigating the regulatory landscape and how it impacts different products better than I would be able to give that answer.
Yeah, you're right. It is very detailed. It's insane. Because I also talk to, not just the DEXs of the world, but the accountants too, right? And it's they have to pay attention. Everyone has to pay attention to tons of moving parts that are.
Yeah. I think
up,
the one thing.
down.
So sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry to cut you
No,
off.
go ahead.
I think the one thing that I can say is that like we pride ourselves and have prided ourselves on being the right side of regulation, and we build products in a trust for, like, we're the most trusted crypto platform, and that is kind of our philosophy when we build products. So definitely be working within, the defined regulatory parameters. That's like kind of core to our building process. And so yeah, just want to be on the right side of that. Sometimes that is kind of working with the regulators, and that applies to all the products.
Yeah, well said. And being on the right side, it's funny because, depending on what lens you put on and what day it is, it looks like a battle. And then other days it looks like, we're all holding hands. But one thing that Coinbase has done consistent, and Brian Armstrong and the rest of the C-suite there, they didn't approach it as a fight. They approached it as a collaboration, and they still want that. And in my eyes, when you're doing that, there's nothing nefarious going on. Here are the books, open it up, show them. And I think, Brian and the team had to take a step back and say, okay, it's time to educate. It's time to bring the traditional finance world, not only the TradFi world, but Congress and the Fed up to speed on what this is and why it's important. So amazing.
Yeah.
Following you guys, every day on this stuff.
Thank you.
And I love all the programs that you're putting in, the awareness, the brand awareness.
The education piece is the key. And I think as we press on that more and more, eventually the question will become, what is in the best interest of consumers? And let's think about product and regulation with that in mind at the core. So I think that eventually will play out.
Yeah, awesome. And as we're starting to wrap up just a little bit, Moheeth, what surprises might we find from the Coinbase product team or Coinbase in general in the next 6 months?
If I told you, it wouldn't be a surprise.
That's true.
We are constantly focused on making sure that we are innovating and that we're making step function improvements to our products that customers will be wowed by and exceed their expectations. And so will there be things in the near term horizon that surprise and delight customers? Yeah, absolutely. What specifically those are and when they'll land, can't tell you that. But yeah, maybe I've answered your question.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And you can't give away, like you said, it wouldn't be a surprise. But to me, being the nerdy kind of guy who loves applications, building them, designing them, it's the little things that make my life a little bit easier or gives me intelligence or a leg up that really, those blow my mind. So love those. And they don't have to be, it doesn't have to be, a huge fanfare. It's the little details that sometimes.
Yeah, and I think like on the advanced trade type, like it's more instruments, more order types, more ability to protect yourself against risk and take advantage of, market movements. And, those are the lead bullets that we are focusing on. It's not a silver bullet, but you need that complete, robust trading platform that allows you to, execute any sort of complex trading strategy. And, there are a lot of those incremental improvements that are going to roll out into the product that you'll be able to touch and see every month, even every other week. And so we're constantly shipping. And so speed of shipping and speed of execution is super important to us. And yes, there are going to be those more huge step function improvements that, hopefully will surprise and delight our customers.
Great. And like I said before, it's not about filling the screen with everything you've got. It's about giving the right people the right tools at the right time that work.
With high quality and with great design. And so, yeah, totally aligned. Absolutely.
That's one of the top things I love about Coinbase.
There you go.
In general is, the brand itself, the consistency is
ease
beautiful.
Of use. Yeah.
Most people Soon, like, oh, they got a great brand program and great advertising. Then you get into the tools, and it's busted. So, or inconsistent, or you guys are pretty thorough. Now, with that said, outside of Coinbase, what are you, Moheeth, excited for? Could be in the world of Web3, of course, blockchain, crypto. What are you excited for?
Hmm. I think I am just excited about the more mainstream adoption. I'm excited about like more people knowing what crypto is. So it's not always like, hey, I work in crypto, and people are like, what's that? And I travel around the world and meet people from different cultures. And so I'm excited for crypto to be more universally understood and more universally appreciated. And I think there are many participants in the industry that are working hard to make sure that that happens. And I think it's not so distant in the future. And that excites me. It gives me energy to like build products here at Coinbase, ship fast, be in touch with our customers, and continue on that journey of advocacy and education. And so, yeah, I don't know if that's like a boring answer of what excites me, but I am generally excited about the growth of our industry, our shared space. And I'm 100% confident that eventually we will like kind of breach the threshold and cross the Rubicon. And it's awesome to be on a team that's like at the forefront of that.
Yeah, well said. And it's not boring at all. I share the same thing. Usability, onboarding. One of the things I think was Steve Jobs has said was when the technology and the questions kind of fade to the background, that's when your products and your brand will be very, very successful. So I share that goal. Absolutely. And another thing you brought up is the idea of, a collective community, because this is so fresh and new. Although the Coinbases of the world have been around for a while, it is fresh and new. And one of the really beautiful things that I get to see by doing these podcasts is everyone. I mean, it's not all kumbaya every day, but everyone in the industry wants the next guy to do well
Yeah.
because it's a collective thing. And there's this weird removal of cutthroat, competition, which is really refreshing and odd to see, but I love it. It's fantastic. And you guys are definitely leading the way in that way. Awesome. This has been fantastic. And I want everyone to know, I mean, obviously Coinbase.com you can go to, but are there other areas we can go to learn more about if I'm a newbie or an advanced, hopefully some of our advanced viewers and listeners are saying, wow, all right, I didn't know they incorporated that. And I'm
Yeah,
going
yeah,
to go
yeah,
for
for
the
sure.
advanced model.
Great question. If you're like a regular, user, you're not an advanced trader, and you want to get your feet wet with crypto, just go to Coinbase.com. It's the easiest to onboard to, the fastest to sign up, and you're ready to like make your first decisions, whether that's to like buy some asset and just hold on to it and kind of taste blood for the first time. But that would be the place that I would direct everybody to. If you're an advanced trader, go to advanced.coinbase.com, or you can also get there by just switching modes on regular Coinbase.com or our app. And yeah, check it out. Give us feedback. We have like a customer council of advanced traders that we constantly refresh with new people who want to participate in our roadmap process and give us features and give us feedback on all the features that we're shipping. We also have an awesome referral program where if you refer someone else, you get 30% of their fees. And so it's a really good deal.
Wow.
And I advise that your audience take advantage of that. And you can find it in advanced.coinbase.com. There's like a referral tab. Grab your link, share it with your friends, earn some money, and get going. So those would be some of the things that I'd mention. I'd just say that if you are watching this interview from outside the United States, please continue to check advanced.coinbase.com for all the latest launches in your country, as we are focused on very exciting launches that are differentiated and add to our product suite that will make our international experience even more exciting, more powerful for advanced traders.
Yeah, that's a great point, Moheeth, because I skipped over. But yeah, global product rollout is not only challenging, but there's definitely roadblocks there for you guys as well. And for our viewers and listeners, take it from me. I've been with Coinbase for many, many years. Some people, use other exchanges, and that's great. You should. But the new features that I'm digging into, the advanced features that Moheeth and his team are working on, are really great. They're partnering with the right people.
I think you'll be delighted by all the things that we're rolling out.
Yeah, we certainly will. Moheeth, thank you so much. This has been fun and educational. We look forward to having you back for sure, and other Coinbase team members as well.
Thanks so much, Rich.